Good afternoon, Patriots. This is Praying Medic, and this is my QAnon broadcast for Sunday, February 24th. Those of you who are following along at home, doing your own Q decodes, you can find Q drops on a number of different websites. qmap.pub, qanon.pub are a couple of them. If you have an Android phone and you want to get alerts on your phone, you can find Q drops and Q alerts in the Play Store. My theme for this broadcast is Loretta Lynch returning to the headlines. I apologize for the lateness of the thread on Twitter and the video. I have been having internet connection problems for the last few days. It took me a very long time to upload my last YouTube video because I didn't have a stable internet connection. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in this broadcast. Q brings up internet problems. It seems like the internet infrastructure is under attack right now. So we start out with Kim Strassel, who wrote an article about Adam Schiff's fear that the Mueller investigation will be a letdown in his decision to continue investigating the president in the House Intelligence Committee. We have a New York Times opinion piece that talks about the Mueller investigation isn't the beginning of the end of the Trump investigation. It is the end of the beginning because there's going to be more investigations to get to the bottom of that pesky Trump-Russia collusion issue that Mueller wasn't able to uncover. And then we've got a link to a tweet from Rob Reiner, who says, from what I understand about the complexities, opaqueness, and length of the counterintelligence investigations, I'd be surprised if Mueller was able to uncover the breadth of this conspiracy. More digging will have to be done, but there will be crimes, and we better see them. So a lot of people are getting already kind of prepared for the letdown of the Mueller investigation findings, which are due out sometime soon. I'm not going to say this coming week. It could be a couple of weeks, 3 weeks maybe. So Q linked to those three Twitter statuses and wrote, what happened to the Mueller hype? What happened to Mueller will take down POTUS threats by former CIA Director John Brennan? Was Mueller the insurance policy, aka blockade, designed to limit and restrict the president's ability to enforce the law? In brackets we have traitors, killbox if you want to call it that. New talking points being pushed are backing away from the Mueller as the savior, excuse A, excuse B, excuse C. Why are new investigations by Adam Schiff, AS in brackets, being started if, as he stated for almost 2 years, evidence exists of ties to the president and Russia? If they had evidence, do you think it would have leaked? If they had evidence, would they be backing away, playing down the Mueller report about to be released? First, they pushed for special counsel. Now they claim the special counsel didn't look deep enough. And here's the big question. If the special counsel's report is classified, how do they know where, who, when, why, and how deep each case is being investigated? If the special counsel's report is classified, how do they know the conclusions of the report? Are new investigations designed to be an assurance extension, designed to prevent the president from cleaning house, attack on political opponents who is and are actively conducting leading investigations into the president for XYZ charges beyond Mueller for XYZ reasons with zero evidence to support? Obstruction trap. SDNY is in brackets, opening a private investigation for the sole purpose of finding a crime. All right, that is part one of a post. This is part two. Evidence to support, evidence presented. Does Southern District of New York report to Attorney General Barr? Actually, no, they don't. They report to Rod Rosenstein. Watch the news. MW in brackets, Maxine Waters, opening new investigations into the finances of President and his or family. Why did Dems state things will calm down if we retake the House prior to the midterm elections? Was their plan to retake the House in order to chair each respective committee in order to start new erroneous investigations in an attempt to retain the blockade? Retain the insurance policy, retain the optical illusion that crime was committed, retain the narrative, retain Dem base outrage, retain Dem base obstruction, retain Dem base support to block the president's agenda. If you know your opponent's move, what advantages does that present? If you have the truth on your side, what advantages does that present? If you have the full control of the U.S. military, what advantages does that present? If you have complete authority to declass, what advantages does that present? If you have the support of the American people, patriots, what advantages does that present? Do not trust the fake news media. You are the majority. Mueller leads to declass, leads to the Inspector General's report, leads to the truth, which leads to justice. The Great Awakening. You are the news now. Q. Got my little meme here. So the Mueller report, when it's released, is going to lead to the declassification of documents, Carter Page FISA application, Lisa Page, Peter Strzok, Comey, and McCabe texts being released, the Inspector General report being released, the truth being exposed, and justice coming finally. It's coming, folks. All right. Q posted on the night of the 21st. We thank you for your service, BO, board owner. We thank you for your service, volunteers. We thank you for your service, bakers, Anons. God bless each and every one of you, patriots, one and all. Pepe is proud and has never been more popular. Q. Q posted this regarding the conservative who was attacked on UC Berkeley campus. The attacker is a member of local Antifa chapter, joined April 2018. Facial scans do not hit directly. 2 jumps downstream were required for them to identify this person, Q. So that person was initially unidentified, and then Q says they were able to pick up the ID of that person. Clark Prasad, who lives in India, got a shout out from Q. He posted this, me wearing the Q shirt in a literature festival. Later questioned a panel of security experts around Deep State. Got unexpected response. Here is a little better shot of him wearing his Q shirt. And Q posted a link to his Twitter status. Our reach is a direct threat to their control. Would the largest news companies in the world attack us daily if we weren't a threat to their narrative and control? You attack those who threaten you most. Q. On February 6th of 2018, keep public interest high regarding Uranium One, the FBI informant, Awans, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and paid Intel, Muslim Brotherhood, and the Tarmac meeting, where Q suggested that Loretta Lynch was given a Supreme Court deal by Bill Clinton. So the president then later tweeted, this was in April 15th of 2018, President tweeted out, Comey throws Attorney General Lynch under the bus. Why can't we find out what happened on the tarmac in the back of the plane with Wild Bill and Lynch? Was she promised a Supreme Court seat or Attorney General in order to lay off Hillary? No golf and grandkids talk. Give us all a break. So Q asks this, deal of a lifetime. Tarmac, in brackets, meeting not planned according to Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton, both in brackets. Security reports indicate U.S. Secret Service security detail for Bill Clinton and the FBI security detail for Loretta Lynch planned for the meeting. Supreme Court, Loretta Lynch deal presented by Bill Clinton. What acts did JC, James Comey, take days after? Comey is in brackets. Less than a week after the tarmac meeting, Comey announced the FBI would not recommend an indictment against Hillary. Returning to the news, Q. All right, so Q is definitely suggesting here that the story about Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton is going to be back in the headlines again. So something to look forward to. And then Q posted this. Just another coincidence, we dropped that Loretta Lynch was offered a Supreme Court seat on February 6th, and it was backed up by a POTUS tweet on April 15th. Enjoy the show. So VoxDog on Twitter created this meme about Bill Clinton talking to Loretta Lynch. Hey, if you forget that email thing, we'll have a Supreme Court seat for you. Loretta Lynch says, what if she loses? Clinton says, lose? Are you kidding? We own the media. How could she lose? And then days later, Comey says, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. Q reposted that meme and said, dead on. Q. All right. And I'm throwing up some memes there from the board. Pepe the newscaster, is you're going to be seeing more of those in the future. So although Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch both claimed their meeting in Phoenix wasn't planned, documents that were presented to the Inspector General, the DOJ Inspector General, show that Clinton's Secret Service detail and Lynch's FBI detail did arrange the meeting. They communicated before they met. So there are some holes in that story. And Anon posted this. It's a tweet by the president, a must-read by Kim Strassel. And then Anon says, why hasn't this been noted yet? Trump just tweeted the same link Q started with in post 2856 regarding the new narrative, Q proof. So Q responded, got popcorn? Oh yes, we need popcorn. It is going to be showtime pretty soon. Q posted this. There sure are a lot of Q comments on that tweet by the president that just referred to. Happy Friday, Q. All right, Donald Trump KAG 2020 posted this meme, the wall that the media is building in America, and it is a wall to divide Americans. Q reposted that and said, memes, memes, and more memes, the truth will always win. Q then reposted a graphic about Q Plus is POTUS aboard Air Force One. This is when Air Force One was flying under the call sign Q0. And Q asked, what is the plus sign on a phone? And it's the 0 button. So Q is telling us that they were giving us a hint that the president was flying as Q plus, right? So Q then says, impossible to defend, Vietnam trip coming, enjoy the show, Q. President is going to be in Vietnam on the 27th and 28th of February to meet with Kim Jong-un. So we will probably be getting some interesting drops from Air Force One during that trip. Q posted a link to a YouTube video and said, are we having fun yet? The best is yet to come, Q. That video is the presidential motorcade honking at people on the side of the road holding up honk for Q sign. And Q asked previously, how often does the presidential motorcade honk at bystanders? All right. The Reagan Battalion posted a video of Bernie Sanders praising communist leaders, Castro, and other communist leaders in Central America. And Q posted a link to that video and said, it's amazing what a person finds when they simply research. Talking about Bernie praising Castro. Will the next wave of Dems 2020 candidates begin to push the everything will be free, reparations for all black Americans, more government control will save us, etc. Broken record lines in order to buy con voters. More talk, more claims, no facts, no plan, no details. What happened regarding Bernie's wife and her bank fraud case? Linked to an article there that talks about the U.S. Attorney's Office in Vermont dropping the case against Bernie's wife for potential bank fraud. And then Q wrote, it pays to play. The more you know, Q. And there's a link to the article. It's a Washington Post article about the U.S. Attorney's Office dropping the case against Bernie's wife. All right. The Super Bowl champion, New England Patriots owner, Robert Kraft, was charged in a prostitution sting involving the trafficking of Asian women. And Anon posted, you can bet Q knew that Kraft was on the surveillance video just when Kraft got all liberal in the fake news. And Q replied, Super Bowl winners, in parentheses, puppy, sex, Urban Dictionary, in parentheses, Q. Go back to the post from the 20th, 2 days previously. Q said, but you knew that already. That had to do with a statement by John Solomon that Mueller would not recommend any charges against the president. So Q said, you knew that already. And then Q wrote, hence why Schiff, SDNY, Maxine Waters are attempting to keep the insurance scheme going post-Mueller. Fear, the fun begins directly after. We'll make the Super Bowl look like a puppy show. So kind of an obscure reference there, but Q was letting us know they already had information about Kraft. So the Super Bowl reference here is that Kraft, owner of the Patriots, just won the Super Bowl. The puppy reference There's an Urban Dictionary definition. Sex puppy, a very sexy person who does nothing all day but follow around his or her master in a sexual manner, always happy for intercourse. So Q was just giving us a heads up ahead of time that they knew that that was coming. And Anon asked this, Q, DeGenevis says sedition, not treason. Is that delineation accurate on those who were involved to frame Trump and the American people? Please advise. Q wrote, sedition, treason, crimes against humanity. Q. And then we have another drop from an Anon who posted this. It is a screenshot from the Department of Justice Inspector General's report about the things that were found on Anthony Weiner's laptop. Hillary Clinton and Foundation, crime against children. And then Q reposted that, quoting Hillary Clinton and Foundation, crime against children. Q. We have a tweet from Purple Sea Lion. End the fake news narrative. We are one. We are united. And this is a meme of Don Jr. from a conference that was held by black conservative leaders of, I think it was the Young Black Conservative Leaders of America. Q reposted that tweet and said, fake news only divides. Divided you are weak. Together you are strong. United, not divided. Where we go one, we go all. Q. Okay. AP Politics had a headline, the White House is looking into Labor Secretary Acosta's role in the secret plea deal for sex abuse. This has to do with the fact that a judge determined that prosecutors broke the law when they made a plea deal with Jeffrey Epstein. And Labor Secretary Acosta was involved in that plea deal. So Q posted a link to that article and said, how do you fill your administration if a majority of those in politics are corrupt? Draining the swamp. Q. Washington Examiner published an article announcing that the Trump administration has a plan to limit Planned Parenthood's access to taxpayer funding. And Q reposted a link to that article and said, one step closer. Q. So one step closer to undoing all the things that have been done over the last couple of decades to give Planned Parenthood taxpayer money. Okay, Politico published an article suggesting that conservative Twitter accounts that are critical of Democrat 2020 presidential candidates like Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, are actually displaying behavior similar to that of foreign-controlled accounts that interfered in the 2016 presidential election. Okay, Politico posted an article, and then Hillary Clinton retweeted that article. And Hillary, of course, is implying that these social media accounts that are critical of Democrat candidates may be part of a foreign-controlled disinformation campaign. So Q reposted Hillary's status and wrote this, for those who think this war is fake or we are not considered a major threat, this is a direct attack by Hillary Clinton on Q and pro-Trump patriots. The article referenced has an embedded link that literally targets pro-POTUS Q Twitter accounts that have been identified by the Clintons and Deep State as serious threats, ability to shift the narrative. Twitter has already begun to remove targeted accounts in stages under false pretenses. The war is real, the threat is real, Clinton panic, Clinton fear, Judgment Day coming, Q. And Q posted disregard all spelling and other errors on the move. Q posted the link to it's an article. It's very long, and it has 200 Twitter accounts. It has their icons in this article. And Q posted that link to embedded article, Crooked Hillary. Hillary is in 3 sets of brackets, skill boxes. Okay, go to the link, and you find out, there's all these different accounts. And what they essentially are doing in this article is they're suggesting that these accounts are engaging in behavior that is similar to Russian bot accounts that have already been banned from Twitter for attempting to influence the 2016 and 2018 elections. So now they're going after these accounts and they're saying, well, we're not accusing them of being Russian bot accounts, but they're engaging in behavior that is very similar to those accounts, using the same hashtags, coordinating efforts, doing a lot of things that bot accounts tend to do. And what I see going on here is a coordinated effort by Twitter they're conflating Russian bot accounts with individual Patriot accounts that are acting the way Russian bot accounts acted. And Twitter is going to make the argument, look, if they're acting like these bot accounts, we should just suspend them and get rid of them, because they may be Russian accounts. We don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. So to keep the election integrity safe, we should just, suspend them anyway in the event that they might be foreign controlled. That's the argument they're making. So an Anon posted a link to a tweet by AFP, breaking news: the internet infrastructure is under attack. The agency that oversees the online address book warns, and there's a link there. And then the Anon wrote, evil trying to prevent the truth from spreading. Right, so as this was being posted, I was having all kinds of internet connection problems. I have a good internet connection normally. I went through 2 days where I could not keep my internet connection alive. I continually reset my modem and my router. Nothing I did was able to give me a stable internet connection, which is why I wasn't able to post on Twitter and have had trouble uploading my YouTube videos. So Q responded to that with a link to ICANN.org announcement, Tools of Prevention Online, Q. That goes to an article that talks about some measures that they're taking to try to stabilize the internet infrastructure. Q then posted this, and it's a three-part response. There's a link to a document about understanding the internet infrastructure. Number 1, info. Number 2 is remove control from government and provide to CA, California, who controls California. So we know people like Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, Adam Schiff control California politics, plus the families, the rich families we talked about in the last video. There's a link to a Forbes article that talks about why Obama transferred control of the internet to this California nonprofit. Then Q, in number 3, writes significant risk to them controlling the narrative, cover, control, and there's another link to that ICANN news article about the internet being under attack. Q then writes, why would Hussein transfer U.S. government control of the internet to a nonprofit in California? You are the news now, Q. And Anon responded, they are scared and desperate. Q responded with a drop from the 14th. In the very bottom of it says, use caution, high follower count targeting to direct deep in narrative mob as method to remove. And Q said, coincidence that this all happened days after this post, we have everything, Q. So Q is basically saying that he's warning us that they're targeting people on social media who have high follower counts in order to take them out. And this article that they just published is evidence of their plan, and that Q has got foreknowledge of it. All right, Q posted links to the 200 people that have been targeted and said public service announcement, targeted direct purge, and there's a link to the article and then all these accounts, and then there's a second post with more accounts, and then there's a message at the bottom. I'll read this to you. Patriots, you have been selected as threats and falsely labeled as foreign disinformation agents, though they attempt to disguise at the bottom as not all. This is an attempt to target and remove by false pretense all threatening voices, elimination of free speech to prevent loss of control. These actions are now being monitored and would strongly encourage forwarding this information to the appropriate members of Congress, Senate, and the media. We believe this is a test run to effectively silence the opposition while testing the potential media backlash and/or official response. This attempt to remove, silence fascism, in parentheses, those who oppose their view and narrative should further demonstrate their resolve to control the message, narrative, win at all costs. Q. I tagged my representative, Andy Biggs, in this post, and I would definitely recommend letting your representatives and your senators know about this. Q posted a link to a video You might have seen this before. The link has actually been taken down from Twitter. It says nothing to see here. You are the news now. Q. It is a video. It's a parody, basically, of Brian Krassenstein, the Krassenstein brothers, who like to go on the president's tweets and harass him all day. And the parody is that they're being paid to do it. All right. I think that is the last of the messages that gets us caught up to Q for today. So be encouraged, Patriots. Keep us in prayer. Keep Q and the team in prayer. Keep the president in prayer. Thank you for your support. Thank you for sharing this on social media. That is all I have for you on this update. This is Prairie Medic signing off. I will catch you on the next broadcast.